Welcome to our first video with flag football video plays for officials. Excited to have some game tape here from the first couple weeks of the season. Thank you for watching. Just a reminder, if you do see yourself on the film today, please don't take any of the comments personally. It's all just trying to help us get better, and I'm excited to have some plays to talk about here. So the first few plays are going to surround pre-snap movements, shifts, motions, false starts, those sorts of things. We do know that a lot of our players are new to the game, the coaches are new to the game, and they're all still trying to figure out exactly how to get set prior to each play, and what shifts and motion that they can do in the backfield. So let's talk about some of these. The first one that's going to come up is something we've seen a lot the first few weeks, and it's the offensive players jumping at the ready for play whistle. So we'll play this a couple times here, but you'll see our offense is kind of getting set. Our referee is backing up into position and giving that ready for play signal. And then we have two of the offensive players jump forward when that whistle is blown right there. So we do get a flag from our line judge for a false start. That's a good flag. At this point in the season, the offenses should be used to the referee blowing the ready for play whistle. It's happening on every play. There are some things that we can do. We can try and have a little softer of a whistle if they are lined up and ready to go so that they don't jump. We can try and communicate, wait for the whistle, don't jump, those sorts of things. But the offenses should be getting used to that whistle being blown. And at this point in the season, we want to go ahead and just flag that as a false start instead of resetting the ball and not having a penalty attached. So we get a good whistle here, or a good flag here for a false start. Now let's watch this next play. We're taking a look at the offensive players pre-snap, and you'll notice that a few of the players are moving as the ball is snapped. So we'll take a look here and watch green. So we have at least the tailback moving forward, maybe another player or two, but at least the tailback is clearly moving forward when the ball is snapped. Now, so we'll talk more about illegal motion here in a couple plays, but we know for sure that an offensive player cannot be moving forward when the ball is snapped. So we do get a flag here from the referee. In this rule set, a player moving forward on the offense at the snap is a false start. So we can go ahead and kill this as a dead ball foul and enforce it 5 yards instead of a live ball illegal motion penalty. A good recognition here that we do have a foul. All right, this next play, we're seeing this a lot too, where the offensive players are potentially not all coming set prior to the ball being snapped. So similar to tackle football, the shift rules are the same. So all offensive players do need to come set for a beat before the ball is snapped so that we don't have an illegal shift. And you'll see that specifically this player in the backfield never really gets set prior to the ball being snapped here. So this would be a live ball illegal shift foul. Unless we rule that they're moving forward at the snap, then we would have a false start. So we'll watch one more time. But we want to make sure that all the offensive players are coming set prior to the ball being snapped. And that's a good, preventative officiating piece from a referee potentially, or the line judge reminded them, everybody gets set, everybody gets set. But we should have a flag for an illegal shift on those types of plays. All right, this is another potential illegal shift or false start here in the backfield. So we'll watch this again and watch the players in the backfield. And we have a couple things happening here. We have both the tailback moving forward at the snap, as I stop it here, and we have this receiver that's starting to come in motion at the snap. So let's talk about our two things going on here. So again, we've already talked about if we have an offensive player moving forward at the snap, and if that's what we judge this tailback to be doing, we would have a false start here in a dead ball foul. The other things that we could have is we have two players moving at the snap, and we know that by rule is not legal. So that would warrant an illegal shift if one of them is not moving forward, and that would be a live ball foul for an illegal shift. Now let's talk about the motion. So the rules for legal motion are slightly different in this flag football rule set than, say, tackle football. We are allowed to have one offensive player in motion at the snap, but the criteria for that player is they must be moving parallel to the line of scrimmage, so they can't be moving forward. We know that. They also can't be moving backward, and they need to be within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage. So the only players that can legally go in motion start on the line or within a yard of the line of scrimmage and move parallel to the line of scrimmage. So if we back it up and we watch this receiver, it's hard to tell where she starts and how far back she is. It appears that she's probably a couple yards in the backfield, but her motion is to go behind the quarterback. So we know that she is looks like moving backwards, but she is definitely not within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage when she goes behind the quarterback. So because we have two players moving here, it's a moot point. We have a shift or potentially a false start. But this motion would not be legal no matter what. So we would have a flag here for illegal motion had it just been the one player moving in motion at the snap. The other thing to note here is this pass play on this swing passes is very close to being caught behind the line of scrimmage, right? So our line judge does a great job here of staying put on the line of scrimmage to rule if this catch is behind or beyond. But this is one of those tricky plays in this flag football rule set that can catch us off guard. For a legal forward pass, the ball must be thrown forward and it must cross the line of scrimmage, right? So if this player, number 23, if this catch is behind the line of scrimmage, we would have an illegal forward pass. So our line judge needs to stay on this line unless we're in goal line scenario. We'll talk about that in a second to rule if that pass is caught behind or beyond. The referee should also have an idea of this when that pass is caught. All right, this next play is another motion example, and this is one of a player legally going in motion. So we'll look at this receiver on the far side. It's hard to tell from this angle how far into the backfield she is, but it appears to be roughly within a yard or so of the line of scrimmage. And then you'll see her come in motion straight across the formation parallel to the line of scrimmage, and she's in motion at the snap. So here she goes. Going straight across the formation. She's running parallel to the line of scrimmage within a yard. That is perfectly legal, and that's what we're looking for a legal motion play pre-snap. All right, we'll shift focus here to goal line mechanics. So it's important here in the three-person crew for our wing officials, the field judge and the line judge, to communicate when we are going to goal line mechanics. Once we get inside the 7-yard line, so our field judge is starting on the goal line. As we see on this play, we are at roughly the 7-yard line because our field judge is in the end zone. Once we get to the 7-yard line and in, we are moving to goal line mechanics. The end zone, the goal line, and the end line are too important for us to leave uncovered. This does mean that we are going to leave our line of scrimmage uncovered on these plays. So our line judge, even though you're moving downfield, we'll talk about in a second, you still need to have an idea of players crossing the line of scrimmage, a forward pass if it's caught behind or beyond. But our referee also needs to be taking a greater onus for plays on the line of scrimmage to get those correct because we are leaving the line of scrimmage. So once we get into goal line, inside the 7-yard line, field judge and line judge, we need to communicate. At the snap, our field judge is going to the end line. Our line judge is moving towards the goal line, all right, at the snap. That's going to give us coverage. We'll see on this play that we don't get it correct here. We have our field judge move to the end line, but our line judge does not move to the goal line. And we end up having this catch. It's really not close, so it wasn't as big a deal on this play. But had we had this a close catch, no catch, or flagpole on the goal line, we have nobody on the goal line to rule on this being a touchdown or short. So when we communicate goal line mechanics, we need to make sure that that means the line judge is getting to that goal line at the snap. Now we'll have the same game a little bit later in the game, and we made an adjustment here. So again, we're at about the 7-yard line. We're in goal line mechanics. You'll see our field judge move to the end line at the snap, and you'll see our line judge start to make their way to the goal line. I'm okay with this, being instead of a sprint, kind of a controlled movement there, just knowing our responsibilities still on the line of scrimmage and the first 5 or so yards downfield. But we're getting to the goal line here, and we've got both lines covered. We have the goal line covered, and we have the end line covered on this play. So nice job there with mechanics. On this next play, we're going to take a look at our line judge movement. So we know actually on this play with us inside the 5-yard line going out, we should be in reverse goal line mechanics here. Our referee should be on the end line, and our line judge, since we're inside the 5, should be moving back to the goal line at the snap. This is another case where we need to have the goal line covered in case we have a sack or the snap hitting the ground in the end zone for potential safety. But let's also look at what happens after the runner goes downfield. We have the snap, we have a run, and as the runner is going downfield, and this will be a relatively long run, we want the line judge to go ahead and start that movement downfield to follow the play. We're seeing this a lot so far, where the line judge is just sticking on that line of scrimmage the entire play, no matter where it ends up. Once the ball is past you and going downfield, we need to hustle and sprint downfield with the play. That's going to help us be in position to see potential flag guards, blocking, help out with spotting the ball if needed. But we need to be moving downfield once the ball passes us. That also includes long passes. If there's a long pass thrown, as soon as the ball is gone and crosses the line of scrimmage, we need to start moving downfield to get better vision on plays downfield. All right, on this play, we're going to take a look at what happens after the ball is caught downfield and whether or not we have a blocking foul here. So the ball is going to be caught for a short pass downfield. I want you to keep your eye on black number 5 here. Black number 5. And just to go about our motion, so we saw all of those offensive players ended up getting set. So we were good with that. That's not considered motion, right, when she comes from the side here, because all of our players end up getting set. So that is a legal shift. All right, now we'll keep an eye on number 5. All right, so we have this catch downfield. Now, we know in the rule book it says that our offensive players, if they don't have the ball, that they need to come to a stop, right? And there's a lot of gray area there, but what we're looking for is movement by the offensive players into defenders that causes contact or that impedes the defenders from getting to the runner, right, without contact. So I think 5 does a pretty good job here. Ball's caught, and you see her just come to a stop. Right? Now, it might not have been immediate, but it's pretty close, right? So we're going to consider that she came to a stop. Now, once she comes to a stop, even though she really is setting, a pick for this runner, she has legal right of place. She's allowed to stand in that spot. So as long as she doesn't move from here into one of the red defenders, or even if she moved a step or two into their path and that caused them to go around her, we would potentially have a blocking foul. But she is entitled to that spot on the field as her right of place, and the defenders do need to go around her. So that's a good legal play here from number 5. You will start to see, I think, some coaches scheming that to where it really is kind of a legal pick after the ball is caught. But as long as she just stays put, we're all good here with number 5. Now, on this next play, we are going to have some contact. I want you to watch the center and the rusher. So we do have the legal blitzer here with her hand raised, 7 yards downfield. Watch the contact between the blitzer and the center. Boom. All right. So we get a flag here from the field judge. Obviously, we have a lot of contact. Now let's talk about the fundamentals here. We know our blitzer has a right to a path to the quarterback as the blitzer, right? Now, that path, the only time that could be legally impeded is if the offensive players just stand still after the snap. So if this center snapped the ball and just stood there, she would have right of place, similar to the last play we saw. But when she moves forward, backward, to the side, doesn't matter. At that point, she cannot impede the blitzer. Now, clearly on this play, we have even more than that. As we'll see her play it again, she's going to move forward and just go straight into the blitzer, right? So now we have contact. So let's talk about options here. We know we can have impeding the blitzer as a foul. Our other option here is going to be illegal contact for blocking. Impeding the blitzer is 5 yards. Illegal contact is 10 yards. They both carry a loss of down for the offense. Since we have the contact here, we're going to go with illegal contact because it's obviously the more severe penalty. Now, had number 16, the center, just moved forward and then number 2 went around her, then we'd still have impeding the blitzer. We still have a foul, but it'd only be the 5-yard variety. This is a good pickup from the field judge. When we have big crashes, we need to know how those players got to the ground, and more often than not, we probably have a penalty flag. All right, on this play, we're going to take a look for a potential flag guarding call. I think we've done a better job here as we've gotten into the season a bit about catching flag guarding. And remember our indicators here. Our indicators would be the runner holding their hand, their elbow, their shoulder, anything down below their flag belt, dipping a shoulder, spinning. But when they spin, if they cover up their flag with a hand, all of those sorts of things. We do have to have contact for flag guarding. So let's take a look here. We have the runner with that left hand out, and she's spinning. We have a lot of them she's trying to avoid, and so the question is whether or not she flag guards here. I'm going to back it up just a little bit because I think this is a really good no call here by our officials on the crew. As we see number 1 here, we have this left hand out. That's our indicator, okay? If she stiff arms the defender or that hand comes down below the flag belt, we potentially have flag guarding here. But as you'll see, as the defender comes in, and it's a little hard to tell here, but this left arm of the runner actually goes up and allows access for the defender to her waist. She does shift her hips, which is perfectly legal, but there's nothing blocking the flag belt here for the defender to get to. So this is a legal play, appears to be on video, from the runner. So this is a good no call here. I do like that as the referee, we're moving upfield into the center of the field. As a reminder, it's very difficult for flag guarding for the outside official to see flag guarding that happens on the inside, right? So on this play with that left hand, it'd be very difficult for, I believe that's our field judge on this side, to see that flag guard. Often those are going to come from the referee or the other wing side. But let's keep an eye out for flag guarding. And as a reminder, if we have a flag, what would be a flag guarding penalty, but the flag gets pulled at that same spot, we don't need a flag on the ground as there's no impact. Thank you for watching these plays. Have a great week this week, and I hope to see you out at the sites.